You know, we buy this equipment and then you don't know how to use it. And I'm like,
yeah, literally, this is my home studio. Like, I have the full setup over there, and I still refuse. I still, no. Until it's time to record a song, I'm like, I'm not touching it.
And we're such a learn as we go ass generation. Like, oh my God, it's terrible.
I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. And I'm not there yet. Simply not there.
But I'll be fully impressed with myself once I do learn it. I'm like, I'm fucking great.
So. Oh, this was so simple. I am so smart. Like,
why do people do this? Like, they gotta go to school for this? I figured it out. Okay.
People actually study engineering. Idiots. What the fuck? Paying money for that? Okay.
Hilarious.
Like your hair.
Thank you. My sister makes these
real cute
things.
Some slight.
Yes. Hold on, I'm gonna change this lighting for a second.
I feel like my lighting's gonna be all over the place.
What's up, you guys are watching Check the Chat on All Deaf Women. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you are not yet subscribed. We're dropping dope content weekly. And today we have a very special guest in the building, a Grammy-nominated recording artist, the one and only Chica. What's that?
Oh my God, hi. What is going on? It's so good to see you.
So good to see you too. So first of all, I just want to say, you can fucking rap. Like,
relax. Like, calm down. We just got here.
I gotta say that right off the top, because I feel like I'm a decently hard critic. Like, especially when you listen to women rappers, you want the bars because you want the representation. The same way I'm in the comedy game. When I see
and you're so funny. You're like so hardcore funny. It's like ridiculous. I didn't even know you knew who I was. I've been following you for a minute.
When I saw you was following me, I was like, yeah, we're gonna get along. Anybody who gets my humor, I'm like, you get life.
We're gonna a fool, bro. A fool.
It's crazy, like you rap, you sing, you do amazing melodies. Do you produce too? Like,
yeah. I play instruments. Oh, you can't see them. They're in a different room. But I have my keyboard right here. I got 4 guitars. Like, yeah, I be at it.
You can kind of tell the difference. I feel like when you listen to music artists, you can tell when they're involved in the production process, because like the melodies they do, I don't know, I feel like they're just more attached to the song, so they're gonna.
Yeah. I for sure, like, I can't just rap over a beat. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not my thing. Either I have to have some kind of say in the production of it, or I'm gonna produce it myself. And that's literally what I think my special sauce is. Not everybody can do that.
Not everybody can do a lot of things, even write their own bars. Do you look down on people with rappers with ghostwriters?
I don't look down on them, but it's a different skill set. I think that fans and like the internet culture in general makes us compare ourselves to each other. But like, if you were to break down a painter, like a actual real life medium painter versus like someone who draws on Procreate, they are 2 different skill levels, 2 different, completely like different tasks at hand, no less valued than the other, but they're not the same thing. So if someone's going to look at me and be like, this person's better than you, but that person doesn't put in the time that I do, there really is no comparison. And that's not even saying I'm better. It's just not the same.
I feel like in the rap world, it really is hip hop being the only genre where you can't have a ghostwriter. And like, even when people talk about Drake having a ghostwriter and stuff, I'm like, it's not bad, because you are going up against artists who have 50 people touch their song.
Yeah, like with hip hop specifically, it being one of the last, like, for real known Black art forms. Everything started with Black culture, so I don't want to get that out the way. But with this being something that we still have so much ownership over, the whole concept of rapping is a personal story. It's not just being able to recite bars. It's not just being able to remember essentially a poem and deliver it correctly. It's literally writing something that is not only like audibly, sonically pleasing, but also it's your own story. So when you have 50 million people touching the words and tweaking them to make them just right, because there is a special sauce to that too, which is why I'm not taking away from the art form. But when you have that being done versus me, a 24-year-old sitting here and being like, oh, that's a good line. That's a good line. It's different.
It's definitely different. I think everybody's going to have opinions no matter what, but I hope in hip hop we start encouraging it more, because I think that's what's going to help, it's become so pop now in a way of popular mainstream. Like, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like the way to keep elevating that is like, I don't think it's not wrong if somebody helps with the chorus. Like, but I do
Oh
feel what
no,
you're
no, no,
saying. To
no. That's
like,
like that's songwriting. That's
yeah,
completely like that's why I still put value on it. That's songwriting. Every single thing that you do in music is a collaborative effort. I
mhm,
think that when it comes to pop music versus jazz, there's a difference in the creative process of it. When it comes to rock versus rap, there's a creative process that's separate and it's completely different. It doesn't make it bad or good. It's just that if we as a culture only allow people to excel who literally are just having everyone jump in and be like, we're no different than any other genre. And because it's a black genre, I feel like that is something that we not should police or gatekeep, but we should also encourage that it's both. Because I have
mhm.
no problem. A lot of my friends are writers. They don't write for me, but a lot of my friends are writers and producers and musicians. And there's something magical about adding something to a song that if you hadn't been in the room, it wouldn't be that song. But when it comes to bars, when it comes to telling your story, not
Right.
a story, just your story. I'm not gonna have somebody write my experience. If we writing a song or something and I want to rap, like I mean, I haven't done it yet, but pull up if that ever comes, you know what I'm saying? But I don't have a problem with that. It's just like when it comes to spitting about like hardships and shit like that, I don't want anyone tapping in and being like, you should also say that you fell down the stairs.
Yeah,
Put that there. Put that there. That's gonna hit. Like,
that's gonna be
let me
deep.
find
Like,
my words.
yeah,
No. A
I
hook though? Come on.
yeah, I definitely think it's more like on the chorus and hook side of things, because
Yeah.
even from a comedy standpoint, when you do stand up comedy, some comedians do have writers, and it's not that we frown
Hmm.
upon it, because those writers take basically their thoughts and punch them up. It's called punching up jokes.
Yeah.
But it's so much pride that you get to have. Like, it's a pride thing. Like, you get to really, like, I wrote this shit on my own, and we respect comedians more. Like, my peers who I
Exact
know
same
write
thing.
their shit is like, oh,
Exact same thing because it's definitely a sport. You know what I'm saying? Like everything that you do in creativity, it is a sport. You're trying to push the next thing. And some things used to be a singular sport and they're now team sports. And that is fine. But that doesn't write off the fact that there are people still, there's athletes out here still who are doing everything by themselves. And that's also something that we should, you know, be mindful of because we don't need to think that we have to do everything by ourselves. Like that can be someone's downfall as well. So again, it's to each their own for me. But I
and
personally, as for me in my house, I
we gonna write
at
our
least
own
for the
shit.
next 5 years, for now, like I
Right,
got to
yeah,
get my own accolades before I start adding people in. I want to know that people love what I do before I start adding in what everyone else does. You know what I'm saying?
right. That's good though, because a lot of people just don't even have that. It's like they really do need that. But when you were talking about it being compared to sports, I was like, dang, are ghostwriters to the rap industry what steroids are to sports? Like, oh, you're kind of cheating to win a little bit. Like,
I wouldn't even say it's cheating. I would say that ghostwriters are to rap what I would like if we're talking about like school sports, like a high end like professional coach for JV, if that makes sense. Like
mm-hmm,
to have that much more access because you also have to remember that you're not just competing with the Drakes and the Nickies and all the people who are like upper echelon rappers.
mm-hmm,
There's people who literally are just getting their start who do not have access to these writers who you can pay to be in the studio. It's people literally starting from the ground who are trying to compete with people who have 20 people working on a song. So it's not cheating. It's just literally two different leagues, but there's no separation. So if there's
mm-hmm,
no separation, that means that you kind of have to put value on both. But look at the people who are like, I got nominated for a Grammy. I wrote
mm-hmm.
everything myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I was in the same category as people who did not do that. So I can't have someone look at me and be like, oh, y'all are doing the same thing. But I know that there's 20 people who made it possible for one person. And I'm not shading anybody. I don't know who writes for who in the best new artist category. I'm just using an example. But I can't look at someone and be like, oh, they had 20 rappers or 20 writers on their song and we're in the same category at the Grammys and I wrote everything myself. It's not the same. So it's a respect on both sides. They're two different crafts, but you can't be like, ah, Yeah, nah, it's you. Everybody should have writers. Some people don't
Yeah.
have that access yet. When I
That's a
first moved
fact.
to LA, I had just got here. I wrote my whole EP by myself in a shitty apartment, like chilling
Mhm.
and just praying that someone would listen to it. And then
Mhm.
a year later, here's a Grammy nomination. But that's not the same as somebody who's been here and has all the best producers, all the writers. All that. It's not the same. It's just
Mhm.
not. But it doesn't put more value on what I do. It's just different.
That's facts. But it is all aspects of the industry are very, very competitive. And what I've
Hmm.
learned is important with that is mental health. So as far as mental health goes, I see that you have talked about like just like
Yeah,
depression, which I feel
all the
like
things.
everybody in this generation is facing that. I was depressed for a year. I didn't even fucking know. I was like,
No.
till I was coming out
Yeah,
of it, and I was like, that's what that was. I thought that was gonna be life forever. And then you realize, no, that's depression. You have episodes, and
yep.
sometimes, you gotta fight for
And
that
then
shit.
sometimes it's chronic and it's all the time. And you have, I mean, the way I put it is like life is a series of highs and lows. And whether that means that your high is, a baseline of being good, or your low is a baseline of being good. I mean, bad. Like it's no different. Like
Mhm.
I feel like, especially with our generation, anxiety and depression, not only do they go hand in hand, them bitches go together. They love each other, but also we are in a new transformative era.
Mhm.
So the anxiety around existing is just always there. Like
Mhm.
our parents, our grandparents, they don't think about life in the same way that we do because everything is changing for us right now. So it'd be very difficult to not be anxious, or it'd be very difficult to maintain happiness at all levels. You can't. You simply
It's
can't. That doesn't mean you will have chronic depression, but some
right.
people do. I do.
And when we
I
work in
did.
an industry where it's like you're constantly working, but work is fun, so it doesn't feel like work. Sometimes it's hard to find happiness outside of work. So, what
Mhm.
makes you happy aside from like music and making stuff?
The funniest part about doing or getting everything that you want in life, especially when it's like, I want to do my passion for my job. Once you start adding money into what you're passionate about, it completely changes the landscape of what you're doing. And so, my safe place, although it is still writing, it's still locking myself in this room and being like, yo, what rhymes with cat? Like, that's still cool, but it's no longer where I run for my escape. When I do it, it's still an escape, but it's not, you know? So I feel like happiness for me isn't really found in anything that's physical anymore. I don't think that, like, I'm the thing, my first love is music. And once you not lose, but kind of lose your first love, what do you find other than, internal peace for happiness? I find happiness in the fact that I can laugh at things. It is gonna sound like I'm dick riding, I'm not, but like even seeing videos of yours and just kicking that moment of being like, oh, I get to like, I can be by myself looking at my phone and laugh. That's such a gift. Like I find happiness and shit like that. I can't say that like I fishing, and sometimes I really do like to, go hoop, and it makes I don't. I'm chilling. I work. I tweet too much. That's
Right.
it. But my happiness comes from the little things in life, because the biggest thing in my life is my number one passion, and it's my
Mhm.
job. So after that,
And I don't think people understand where it's like, yes, it's my work. Yes, I'm getting attention for it. Yes, I'm getting money for it. Yes, I'm getting things, but it's also a lot of pressure. So now my passion becomes my
yeah.
pressure. Bring it back to comedy. Sometimes it's hard for me to watch comedy specials because if I'm doing it,
I'm
or
so glad you're saying this.
it's like I can't consume normal. I write scripts, so it's hard
I
for me to
can't
watch
listen to
TV
music
shows.
the same way.
And
I
it's
can't.
like,
It sucks. It literally sucks. And nobody will get that if you say it to someone who doesn't do something that like they also consume. I can't listen to music the same way. The only music I really consume is shit that I listened to when I was 12. I go back and I'm like, this shit used to slap. And then I listen to stuff nowadays. I'm like, that ain't even fair. That I bet they paid to have that on the radio. I bet they be
right.
that's not even cool.
Who's that
Man, fuck this
producer?
shit.
What are they doing? When did they come out? Who are they signed to?
My
Mm,
favorite quote is like the enemy or comparison is the thief of joy.
yes.
Like that is it. And
Mhm.
so when you're literally working in a field, all you can really do, and it's not inherently evil because in order to get better, you take notes. So comparison is a key thing that you do. You can't turn that off in your brain though. So if I'm listening to music, I'm going to be taking notes, and I'm also going to be comparing, and that steals the joy away from it. I
Mhm.
simply, if I find myself liking a song that was made in the year that I'm listening to it, I'm like, that bitch is next. Like, I can't. Otherwise, I'm like, this is not it for me. So I can
Right.
completely understand watching a comedy special where you being like, I'm anxious. I don't even turn this shit off. Cut it
Yeah.
off.
It's
Put
like
something on from the 50s. I'm not trying to. Let me watch some Richard Pryor. I'm not trying to look at nobody recent right now.
yeah. But I feel what you're saying, where you still want to consume entertainment, so you find yourself doing eyeball shit, like listening to older music, listening to shit
Yeah.
that's not real. Like I'll watch the most random things on YouTube. Like my YouTube recommendation is so interesting because I'm like, I gotta watch random shit. I can't watch normal stuff that
Yep.
people are entertained by. You
I can't
know.
watch anything that has anything to do with music. I can't. I can't. It's not for me. It's not my anointing in life. It's not my calling. I'm going to watch something that is so far out of the realm of what I work at and what I like to do that it doesn't bother me to do so. That's it. I'm
Thanks.
going to find my joy where I can. And that's not listening to people who do my job. I'm sorry. No is the answer. It doesn't mean I don't listen to shit, but like it's not as much as I listen to like old things from like high school and middle school. Like I'm not gonna. I can't get wrapped up. We are colleagues at this point, or
It's just
rivals.
work.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You
It's
know, when
work.
people turn on the radio in traffic, you like, that's work. And my mind's gonna start
Yeah.
working. This is not relaxing. So yeah.
And then my friends don't do music. My family, of course, they don't do music. So they're like, "Oh, don't you love this song?" And I'm like, "You don't understand that these are my competitors. Like, even if I did love it, like finding joy in that. Not that I won't or that I'm fighting it. If I like something, I like it. But if I like it, that means that that is now the level that I want to reach. And for myself as an artist, I do not ever want to be swayed by what's going on around me to start making stuff like that. It puts pressure on me to be
Yes.
like, oh, that's what the people like. I need to make that. And because I think that my secret weapon is my brain, my mind, whatever comes from me without being influenced by outside noise, I can't do it. I can't. And it's not that I don't like things. I want to remain as true to myself as possible. And if I were to start making everything that I hear, if I were to listen too much, I would start doing that. I can't. I can't. Then I'm not Chica anymore.
Yeah.
I'm Chica with a twist, a dash of lime, if you will. Like I can't. It's not my forte.
But Chica trying to appease what you think will work or what other people want. And as a
Yeah.
creator, even if I get in modes like that, I definitely immediately try to get out of it because it's just not fun for us. It's
It's not.
fun. It's just not fun.
The best thing you can possibly do, or the best feeling in life, is to be appreciated for what you bring to the table. And so if I'm constantly at the table and they shuffling cards and showing me what everyone else is appreciated for, and I start picking apart and grabbing little things here and there from everyone else, I'm not myself anymore. I am no longer a completely separate entity from everyone else. I am myself with everyone else's influence, everyone else's notes, everybody else's spin on it. Like I can't do that. That's why I don't auto-tune my music. That's why I don't go in and like correct certain things that may sound like a little bit sketchy to other people, but to me, I'm like, that's what my voice sounds like. I'm not gonna go.
And that's what I like about it. And that's when I listen to that, that's the part that makes me connect to it, because I'm like, I can tell that the way you do certain melodies or the way you double up on a chorus or just certain sound effects and things. I'm like, only somebody who's making it will do that, because I produce and write and I'm so behind the scenes too on things. And I see certain creators who aren't, and I see what they're missing, and I'm like, you're missing. It's like giving your baby up for adoption. They're not gonna have your same thing.
It's no longer your own thing. It's really just not. And again, I don't want this to come off like I'm downplaying what everyone else
talk
do,
your
because
shit.
there are certain people.
Look,
the internet hates me, so I be prefacing everything, because everyone's always like, I could say that the sky is beautiful today. They're like, bitch, what the fuck was it yesterday? Like, so I have to make sure I choose my words very wisely. I'm not saying that it isn't a skill to be able to hear what's popping, because there are literally artists who that is their zhuzh. That is what they're known for. And it's a gift. It is a skill. It's a developed skill that I don't have. I can't do it. It makes me anxious. But for me, I can't listen to what everyone else likes and begin to make that, because it just feels weird. It's no longer fun. It's no longer a place where I can go and be like, this is what my soul sounds like. This is what I hear in my head for this. And like at that point, what am I doing it for? Who am I doing it for? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just not it. I think that you should stick to what you do, because that is why you're here. That's your purpose. You have a unique voice. So why even change it with what everyone else does? It's counterproductive, counterintuitive, and ultimately what mark, you're not leaving your mark on the world. You're leaving a cloned mark of someone else. And if it's already being
Exactly.
done, don't try to do it.
That's facts. And I think those type of artists really have those fan bases that stick with them because there's just some genuineness in there. People really like it. But I do see that you
Yeah.
have to fight trolls a lot online. Why do they be on your head? Like I'm like
Because I'm fucking dope.
I feel
I'm a
like once
dope
you get
ass
on the
bitch. I'm just dope. And I get it. It pisses people off because when you look like me, when you sound like me, when you're as cocky and confident as I am, a lot of people want to humble you. And when you don't apologize for being who you are, a lot of people get really upset with that. We have to think about the fact that not most people in this world right now haven't fully realized who they are. I've been forced to realize who I am because it's constantly being picked apart. And that piece is very disruptive to certain people because for them they're still figuring it out. And so, I speak my mind. I'm unapologetic. I can be rude. I can be catty. I'm 24. Like, people are gonna hate me, and that's fine. I'm not for everyone. I don't want to be for everyone. If
Mhm.
they like me, I'd be a little bit scared because then I'm not a person. I don't have an opinion. I'm not swaying anyone to either side. I would like to have firm beliefs and stances on things. And if that welcomes people who hate me, that's fine. At least I have a position. Like, that's,
Facts. And I don't think people realize that it's like you get a lot just of random ass people on the internet who say something to you where you're like, why are you talking to me right now? And
that's my favorite stance. Like,
you can
stop talking.
say something back to them, and then they're like I literally had one person a week ago be like, well, obviously you need help because you're responding back to somebody who got 200 followers. I'm like,
Exactly, bro. Y'all be coming to us. And also, the biggest part of that annoys me is that when you don't respond to people, they say that you're too good for everyone and you need to humble yourself. When you are humble enough to speak to everyone as though we're on the same level, all of a sudden they weaponize it and be like, you're too high up to be talking to bitch, which one is it? Pick a struggle, my nigga. Like, am I like y'all or am I not? And at this point, I've accepted
right.
for myself that we are not alike. These people on the internet, a lot of them, and I'm not even judging. It's like from a place of being in it and also understanding that I'm no longer welcome in it.
Mhm.
I've been in the place on the internet being like, man, all these motherfuckers are so weird. They think because this, and that, like they better than everybody. And then I get to a place where I don't think that of myself, but people project it onto me, and I'm like, oh, even if I feel normal, nobody's letting me be normal.
Yes.
So at that point, do what the fuck you want. Like, how are you gonna talk to us and then be like, stop replying to me? What? What? It doesn't make sense. It's
And
counterintuitive. How does
I
the
was
conversation work?
it's interesting too to just read it because he was telling me I need to go to therapy. And then I'm like, you
I'm
think bad
interested.
of yourself. You think because you have 200 followers, you're not worth responding to. Like, you need to go to therapy because I don't care how many fucking
Yeah.
followers I would always feel worth whatever. But even if I wasn't in the industry, I wouldn't be doing that to people who were
You want to
doing
know
shit.
some wild shit that happened literally like 24 hours ago?
Hmm.
I liked a tweet. Just liked it. It was about Nigerians. I liked it. The person who made the tweet doesn't like me. And then afterwards, underneath the tweet was like, ew, why did Chica like this? Bitch, move. I'm like, I don't even know who you are. Like, what are you talking about? And so I was like, okay, that's very strange. I liked it because it was funny and like cool. And then I saw that they were begging for followers and money underneath. And I was like, I literally boosted this tweet to my audience and then subsequently their audiences. And you're asking for follows and money. This would have helped you, but okay, cool. I would have even like fucking slid you some shit, but now you can just ask, you can grovel for the shit. I don't care. That got spun around into Chica is so disgusting and vile. She's talking about the poor. I can't believe Chica hates poverty. I was like, you can't win. You can't win. And the only way to maintain your peace of mind is to look at everyone in the face and be like, you're miserable. I have nothing else for you. Have a great
Mhm.
day. You don't like me? Dislike me in silence. That's fine. You're
And
going to pick something to be pissed about.
that's my thing. Do it quiet. And they're like, well, it's social media. We all have the right to our opinion. Well, keep
So
it
do
on your fucking page.
I.
I know, right? But I'm the
They love
bully.
saying that when you have an opinion. Like,
Right.
it's like, fuck you. But when they have an opinion, it's like, I'm entitled to this. Like, which one is it?
Right.
People don't understand that they be making arguments against themselves. Like, You don't have to like me. You don't have to think that my opinions are correct. You don't have to do any of that. I'm not on Twitter to be like, everyone gather round. I am Jesus, and everything I say is the way, the truth, and the life. And nobody comes to the Father except through. Like, I'm not saying that. Like, I'm just here to talk shit about Eggo waffles sometimes, and then I have a hot take that everyone's like, kill this bitch. She's over. She's done. Can't get her out of here. I'm like, that's not how anything on earth should work. It's so toxic, and it doesn't. There's no way to help it, for us at least. Like, there's no way. There's no setup for like, oh, people are really harassing me over nothing. Can y'all stop this?
Right.
There's nothing. You just kind of have to log off, and I refuse. I'm a Gemini rising.
It's so you like, listen, we can fight. One of my personalities is gonna fight you today, so please don't.
Yeah, one of them, maybe both. They might get you. Come outside. They might.
Man, like every week though, people are trying to trigger you or something. Because I had seen it was like a week or a week and a half ago with the guy with the kids and everything. And
I thought that was hilarious. I'm so toxic.
Well, people seem to miss when you're like, she told me to kill myself. So after that, I'm like, well, you know what? Here, then I'm gonna say this. Hey, I'm sure you probably just went on about your day after that. Like, you're not sitting there all day being like, I'm gonna make a voodoo doll out of you and give you all my energy. Like, sometimes when we respond to trolls, it's like, whatever.
It pisses me off because spin it into this thing that creates a narrative that can be hurtful to you. So, long story short, someone told me to kill myself after someone else called me a bitch for no reason. And that got spun into Chica's bullying kids because I roasted their kids. First and foremost, the kids aren't on the internet. I never bullied a child. I didn't go to their parents' door and say, knock, 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 open up, let me see your 4-year-old, bitch, you're lame. I didn't do that. Like, I spoke on someone's, which is like, I want to preface this by saying, it was wrong and it was meant to be wrong. I love it. I love that it was wrong. That was the point. We're having an argument. We're insulting each other. That's the point. I won. I went the lowest. I won. So, period. I'm never going to apologize for that. That was my intention. But it got spun into this thing where it's like, you bully little black kids. How dare you do this, that, and the third? I'm like, did y'all miss the part where the person told me to put a bullet through my head? And not to make this deep, but I attempted suicide in April. Right. So imagine if I wasn't mentally sane or like mentally stable right now, and I had someone tell me to kill myself. What would that have done to me? Is it me versus her? Like, if it's you or me, bitch, I choose me. And if that comes at roasting your kid after I warn you that I'm gonna roast your kid if you don't get the fuck out of here, she stayed and she insulted me again. So I was like, all right, bitch, cool. I don't care about what anyone says to me on the internet.
And you don't have any kids, right? You don't have any kids.
Oh no, I have 2 dogs.
Right. So I know me either. So that's why I'm like, I have one time with an ex or whatever who had kids and stuff, and he was talking shit about me to somebody else, or the person who told me he was talking shit. I said something back about their kids, and it was just like, and I'm like, okay, people who have kids.
I didn't say it to the child.
I didn't either. But it was like, if you talk about a kid, and I'm like, I think because I don't have kids, I'm a little more willing to be like, man, da 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 da. I don't care. But I don't know. Maybe if I do have kids, I still talk shit.
I'm gonna say it to you like this. If you were as toxic as the person that you said that to, would you think that it would be fair for them to say that to you? It doesn't matter if something hurts you more because you can relate to it. It's the toxicity level. It's not the fact that you're more sensitive about your kids. I'm sensitive about my life.
Right.
If someone tells me to kill myself and I'm like, oh, fuck your child, why does your child matter more than my actual life? Why is it that a child who never saw the tweet about them is more hurt than the person who attempted suicide in April and got told to put a bullet through their head? I'm the one who actually had to end, like, the impact landed on me. So if I'm insulting your kid, that child is not bearing the brunt of it. The only thing that you can say is like, oh, I loved that thing. And since you insulted that thing, I am now hurt. Hey, cool. That's what an argument is.
You insulted me. I'm somebody's child.
It's a wash. Literally, that's why I was like, yo, you called my mom's child a bitch. You told my mom's child to kill herself. Like, I compared your child to my dog.
Yeah.
I said that your child has a bone structure like a skeleton. I'm so mean.
Do you feel like moving forward, you like based off of just keep getting the backlash and things like that? Or sometimes too, if I respond to somebody a little harsh, I may days later, once I calm down, I might be like, because I'm a positive ass person, and I can tell you're a positive person. I can tell you like for all your friends and people, I'm sure you're the one to encourage people, hit them up randomly with ideas. Like I'm sure you give love and receive love.
I'm the
and
one
that's what
calling
we
and making sure everybody's okay.
Right. And people, it's like, that's what we want to give. And when people attack us, sometimes you attack back and then and it's like, do you think 5 years from now, whatever, because you are young, you know, it's like 24, so you think you're going to change or no?
Whatever you're about to answer, I mean, ask no. The answer is no. I fully accept and hold space for the person I am today. And in 5 years, the argument I had on Twitter last week will not even be on my brain. Therefore, I can't change my opinion on it. What I can say is that how I feel now, how I felt then, and how I will feel a week from now is the exact fucking same. Like, it's just what it is. Right. I probably will be less inclined to defend myself as much because I'm sure in 5 years, I won't have the time to talk to these motherfuckers. Point blank, with the success I intend on achieving, I feel like I won't have the time to speak to people as much. Therefore, you probably won't get responses from me. However, the essence of my being is always going to defend myself. I am so protective of myself because I was never, ever, and still to this day, I am not protected. Nobody is taught to protect Black women. They're not taught to protect plus size women. They're not taught to protect mask or queer women. I don't give a fuck about anyone's opinion. If you're going to come into my turf and threaten my peace, threaten my life, threaten anything about what I have going on, you're going to get that energy back because I am my number one defender. Period. So I won't feel bad. I don't feel bad. It's like, okay, cool. I'm going to get backlash and that's fine. But backlash at the expense of taking care of myself, feeling like I accomplished the role of being my own parent and being like, you don't step foot in this one's house right here. Nah, I'm proud of myself for even having the self-love to do that. Some people will take the backlash and they internalize it and they're like, I'm the problem. I'm mean. I'm so stupid for replying. I'm not. I'm a human. I'm a person. I have emotions. Sometimes I get pissed off and you're going to hear from me. You're going to see that. I'm not the 24-year-old who's going to mute their emotions and have it all piled up so that when I'm 30, God willing, I make it there. And 40, I'm sitting here resenting everyone in the world because I never got to have normal reactions because, oh, I'm good at my job and everyone knows who I am. Fuck that. I'm going to act like a person every step of the way. And if you have a problem with that, check yourself. That's what I say to everyone. I'm like, why? You would do the same thing. So why is it that I can't? Oh, you have a platform. Okay, bitch.
And I would just say to anybody who's trying to be hard on you, because I've seen some bloggers and stuff, and I'm like, damn, they really try to come for you. And I just think it's like, and just even trolls and people, especially who don't do this, like, our mentions are not just you who said one negative thing out of the once in every month. It's like, no, we get a
you motherfuckers.
Same dumbass shit, a lot of the same thing, banding together to start rumors, do things, and it's like sometimes
and it be the
we just
wrong narrative too.
Yeah,
it's the wrong. Sometimes they really will mischaracterize you.
So it could be a buildup, and I think people don't get that. Like this ain't the first troll. I ignored thousands of trolls. I responded to all the positive comments, and one out of the 100 that I responded to a negative person. But what all the good shit with my fans? Why y'all talk about that,
bro? A month ago, I sent like 5-6 people each $300 on some like bullshit because I tweeted that I had found $300 in my pocket, which I did. I wore a jacket to like some event and had cash on me. I was like, yo, check your pockets. You might find money. I just found $300. Everyone turned that into a negative tone deaf thing. And instead of getting mad about it, I donated $300 to a lot of my fans who were just like, post this on Twitter and tell them you found it in your bathtub. Post this on Twitter and say that you found it in your toaster. I made it a joke. And that was me not only giving to charity and like giving to people who need things, but also not being too serious with myself. The minute somebody says something offensive to me and I give them exactly what they gave me back, it's like, Chica, it doesn't deserve anything that she has. This is why she hasn't blown up. This is that and the third. I'm like, nobody decides my future. That's an incorrect analysis of who I am. I'm over here silently paying people's rent, silently paying for my parents' shit, silently doing good things for everyone around me. And even when I'm vocal about it, there's never an article about that. And who's really capitalizing on the negativity here? It's not me. It's the people who write about it. It's the people who want to join in the conversation because it's negative. And those people are not happy in life. So they're not,
but it works out. It works out for you because it's like, if you're strong enough to take the negative, It'll still,
Yep.
people gonna talk about you to get your name out there. So if you keep that mental strength to just be like, I'm defending myself, everybody's not gonna
Yeah.
get it. And I tell people too, especially celebrities, because it's like people can get, just anybody who has any type of following or audience following what they're doing gets a lot of criticism. With all the love, you're going to get criticism. So whenever I talk to celebrities or people, I try to tell them like, look, never in the history of anything has anybody agreed on everything. Nobody is ever. So no, there's no way everybody's gonna like you. Nobody liked it's just
everything.
Never,
like it's not.
We don't agree on politics. We don't agree on religion. Like nobody agrees on nothing. Not all the time. So
I think that like internet groupthink has people, because like let's start at the fact that internet culture is so new that there really aren't any like, there's no courtesy yet. There's no actual like politeness. There's no etiquette, I would say, to how we interact with people, especially people who we consider more privileged than ourselves. So when you see someone who you consider privileged doing something that you disagree with, your knee-jerk reaction is to attack that person. So I don't even think that the culture of what happens on the internet is weird. I think that in 10 years, even maybe even 5, this won't even be a thing. I think people are getting acclimated to being in spaces with one another on the internet where it's like everyone's free to like balls to the wall, say whatever the fuck they want. And that comes with a lot of people bandwagoning and being a part of a conversation because it makes them feel like they're a part of a group. And I will never judge people for that. I think stans have some of the best friendships on the internet because they found something they're passionate about. And if you're passionate about how much you dislike me, I mean, congratulations. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I disagree with is bringing that to my doorstep.
Right.
I don't need to see it. If y'all want to literally circle jerk about the fact that you think I'm a fat, ugly bitch who doesn't deserve anything, I hope she fails, literally, I will bring you tea and crumpets and leave them at the door just so y'all can do that in the privacy of your home. But coming to me and harassing me and telling me this doesn't do anything to further your conversation or change my opinion, because you can't change my opinion. So don't do it. We just have to learn not to harass each other. It is fine to hate one another.
It's okay.
The
internet is so fucking big. Go over there. Like
exactly. There's literally groups of people, group messages, apps for y'all to do this in your own peace. But because you want to hurt somebody, you feel like you have to bring it to them. I do not care. It's annoying, but it does not hurt me. I love myself too much, and I'm loved by too many people to ever give a fuck about who does not like me, especially when they don't know me to make a proper judgment. Like niggas with 28 followers being like, I think you're a vile person. I'm like, bitch, you can never even be in the same room as me. I don't care what you think about me from the internet.
Right.
It's dumb.
Right.
The way that I describe Twitter is if I were to walk outside of my house and just say something into the air and then have someone run from down the street out of breath and being like, bitch, I disagree. And then all their friends come and be like, me too. We all, I'm like, bro, I didn't direct this to any of you. I just spoke something into the ether.
Yes.
Leave me alone. Go back home.
Do
this at your house. If you heard me, talk about it inside.
And I think even if people aren't in front of the camera or doing creative stuff or anything, it's like you can still take that in your day life. Even if you're in high school and people are trying to bully you or make you feel some type of way or something, that confidence and strength you have is like, this world will try to break you, especially if you are a Black person. The world will try to break you and tell you who and what you are and what you have to be. And I do think that the internet will change, and I do think you're one of the people who will trailblaze for it and be like, I'm not taking that shit, you know, because if you take it, people 10 years from now have to take it. So thank you for being you.
I'll be a martyr. I'm gonna be a martyr. I don't care about anyone who hates me. I'm like, this is going to inspire someone else to be comfortable in themselves, and that's all I'm really here to do. Make a positive impact via my negativity.
Yes. Well, you are doing it, and I hope that you hear the love louder than the hate, because it definitely is louder.
Of course.
Tell people what you got coming up next.
Nothing. I am personally taking a year. I took a year off, but we have Day in Vegas coming up in November, and I'm gonna be back to performing. I'll be in Vegas, and I'll be on stage acting a fool, probably half drunk. It's gonna be a great time. And next year, I'm hoping to be on a worldwide tour. Fingers crossed. Let's fucking get it done. And
the
album's coming.
I'm gonna pull up. Oh, we have to meet in person. I feel like we're gonna be great ass. Yeah, we gonna be great ass friends. We're gonna get along perfectly. We can talk shit all day. Let's connect. Let's do it. And if you haven't heard any of Chica's music, check out her EP, Industry Games. It's really dope. I love it. My favorite song is On the Way. You know?
Oh, really?
On the Way. Like, oh,
see, you're a real one. That's like, that's everyone, like, that's the deep cut from the project. Yeah. Everyone who likes that song, I'm like, you're a real one.
I was like, yes, it makes me get all in my feelings in the best way. So make sure you check it out. And thank you for taking the time to interview with me.
Of course, hit me up. We should. We'll definitely connect after this, so it ain't gotta be no internet thing for the rest of these people.
I know. And whatever, we talk about some real shit. Cause there was some shit, that I know we can't say. Let's talk some shit.
You know what I'm saying? We'll get there. Don't worry.
Well, thank you guys for watching Check the Chat. Make sure you subscribe to the All Deaf Women channel. Leave some comments below. And